Good evening. Hello. Salam alaikum. Namaste. Hola. All the languages that I know. Andala Vishesham. Kaisa hai. This is Muhammad Isa, your host for this amazing summit, the Women Success Summit. And we have 6 contributing authors to the book, Women on Success, the book you see on the screen behind me with the door key opening. And we have an amazing lineup of authors and speakers and individuals, I would say. We met in different stages in our lives, but we share one common goal, empowering others, and this is what we plan to do tonight. So, we have the first speaker with us. She's a corporate lawyer, and she's an artist. I don't know how can you mix both these professions, but she made it. Bushra, the floor is yours. You can unmute.
Hello, everyone. So thank you, Muhammad. And before I have a bit of a presentation to share with all of you. Before I go into that, I have to thank Dr. Nihal because she's the reason I'm here. And thank you, Muhammad. I usually used to go to the Royal University of Women as a visitor trainer over there. And 2 years ago, Nihal told me about this opportunity and I was resistant because I was, it was a daunting task. I had never written a book before, but I'm so glad I did it. It opened so many doors for me. So I will just share my screen and share. Muhammad, I think you need to allow me to share my screen, please.
Yeah, can you ask me for the permission?
Just share screen.
Can you try to share?
Yes, I'm trying to share, but it's disabled.
Okay, let me see. Last time it worked. Okay. Go ahead now. Let me see.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I will just share and hopefully people will be able to. Okay. So basically, Dr. Nihal and I, we share the chapter. It's a common chapter. And the title of our chapter was Woman in a Time. Now, if you can see the title of this book, it shows, like Muhammad just mentioned, it shows a woman walking through a very big keyhole. Usually we know how keyholes are, they're very small. And so the entire concept, which I understood, I don't know if Muhammad intended it this way or not, but the entire concept, as I see it, that, a woman, the doors don't open to women that freely, and it's difficult for women to make their way up the ladder. Yes, you will find many women on the junior level, but going up, there are very few left. And so the doors are closed, there's glass ceilings to crash. So this woman who is of a small size, she's trying to make it through the keyhole. That's how difficult making it to the top is. Now, if I take you to my second slide, so basically what is success to you? If I'm not just referring to mainly women over here, I ask everyone over here, what is the definition of success to you? Some might say that, okay, having contentment. Some might say, well, having a big, fat check. Some might say that, yes, having a loving family, achieving goals, making positive impact in lives. But at the end of the day, remember, it's your story only, and it has to be your way. For me, success, personally, it is aiming for a goal and then doing something to achieve it. Note that I started aiming for a goal because mostly people, including myself, we don't know what we want in life. So the first thing that I would, I ask people, or when I'm talking to different kinds of people, I say that, find your definitive purpose in life. What do you want in life? Because your success starts right from there. The moment you decide that, yes, this is what I want, then your success starts. That's your point A, and that will take you to point B. And of course, you don't just sit on it, then you work on it, and then it like Earl Nightingale. I love his definition. I think it's a very universal definition. He said that it is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, which means that you have this worthy goal and then you move towards it. Like I said, success is very relative. It will be different for a student. Maybe it will be to get an A grade. For a mother, a very dedicated mother, it will be to raising her children very beautifully, wonderfully. So it will be different for different people. The only point is, first you decide what you want for your life, what will make your life worth living, that one day you can look back and say, yes, I lived a true good life and I have no regrets. That's true success for me. Another thing that I want to point out over here is, which is very pertinent, when I wrote the chapter, and the title which was allotted to me was Woman in a Tie. I, being an artist, I was connected to this painting, Woman in Black Tie. It was made by Amedeo Modigliani in 1917. I don't know the real intent of the painter behind this painting, but I saw this painting looking at a woman who is just looking very melancholy. She's not very happy, although she's wearing a man's attire. So, that's the second point I want to come to. Usually, women who do make to the top are, or they are demanded to have men's abilities attributed to them. By men's ability, I mean that they are supposed to be, very assertive. They are supposed to be very, aggressive in their approach. And even I know women who don't have these abilities inherently, but they say that, I have to put up this show, because if I don't, I will be considered as a very weak, fragile being. And this does happen. The moment you show a little bit of your feminine side, or you show a little bit of compassion, and they start rumoring around, oh, she's gone soft, she's gone weak, she's fragile, she's no longer capable to sit on a boardroom. And I hotly detest that and contest it, because I don't believe that women's abilities that have been gifted by nature, which has compassion, we are better listeners, we are, we have more empathy, we are better nurturers, we like to share knowledge. I mean, there are so many abilities in us that God has gifted all of us, but they don't make us weak, they don't make us more fragile. Rather, on the other hand, in contrast, I think these abilities, if they were adopted by men as well, world would be a much better place, because they are like antidotes to world's most pressing problems nowadays. So in order to find a balance, I think when we talk about empowerment, of course we talk about empowered woman. You've never heard of you have to empower a man, because that doesn't go that way. History has shown that it's always the woman who needs empowerment. But then, who is an empowered woman? What makes a woman more empowered? Does she really need to adopt these man's abilities and qualities? What do we do then? Where do we start to get really empowered? So, how do you get it right is, firstly, to all the women who are listening to me right now, you have to have a definitive purpose in life, whatever it is, regarding your own circumstances. You need to know. Otherwise, your life will be like a ship set out to sail in the open sea without any direction, without any destination. Nobody would know where to set your sails for. So you need to know what you want in life. Secondly, you must make a plan. Thirdly, you have to learn. There was a point in my life when I was my kids were small and I was starting a family. I couldn't do a 9 to 5 job, and I didn't. I thought I was just wasting my time, because for a person who who is in the habit of working, I thought I was just wasting my time. What I started doing was I started doing all these different courses, and I didn't have enough funds in those days, and I didn't want to ask money from my husband. So there was a plethora of cases on the net which were for free. I did online courses from Harvard, I did it from Oxford, I did it from Cambridge, and I learned so much. And I used to get a high that, I am learning from these high profile professors who are teaching at Harvard University. And I'm sitting here in my bedroom and I'm learning their knowledge. So learn, learn, learn. I cannot emphasize more on it. Never stop learning. The moment you think that I know enough, then that becomes a stagnant water. It will soon start to stench. You have to work towards it. Another very important point that I mentioned in my chapter was networking. What do I mean by networking? Most of the opportunities that I got in my life, including today's speaking, when I'm sitting here speaking in front of you, it was through my networking. It was, all the best opportunities in my life was through networking. Get acquainted to right kind of people. I cannot emphasize more on it. You have, the right people will definitely point towards the right direction instead of you thinking on your own, making mistakes. It's like walking through a jungle, but somebody has already paved the way for you and it's already lit. So you will know exactly how to go from point A to point B. You will not need to cut through trees and bushes and have all those scratches and scruffes and then arrive at your destination, and sometimes maybe it's too late. Then you have to keep growing. There cannot be a stop. You have to have if you reach your destination, there's always something else that you can do to further it. And again, my mother always used to say, she once asked me that if this glass is already full of water, can you put any more water in it? And I said, no, that's not possible. It's already full. And then she said, okay, let me show you how. And she poured over the water in another cup and then it was empty. So it was, she taught me that whenever you think that you know something enough of, pour it over, give it away, give the knowledge away, because in this way you will have space to have new and more new kind of a knowledge, new learning in you, and you can take it from there. I love this quote which I've written here by Oprah Winfrey. I heard it maybe 20 years ago, but it has stayed with me. We talk about men, women, white and black, and, from this ethnicity. We talk about all these prejudices. She said, which has stayed with me, which I tell my daughter today, that excellence is the best deterrent of prejudice. I tell my daughter, I don't care whatever skill you take, pick up one thing and then be the best in it, because you should, if your name is something to be reckoned with, if you become a brand in yourself, people won't care whether you are a woman, whether you're white, black, nothing will stand in the way, because this is one thing which crushes the bottleneck of all prejudices, and it does set you free. So whatever path you take, be the best in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I love your passion about this topic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bushra. And the messages you derived can go to all kind of, whether you're a man or a woman, the message is applicable. So now we have a speaker. She joined us at a later stage in the book, and I was so happy that she joined, because the book you see behind me, the book you see behind me is The Woman on Success. It is the third collaborative book that I published, and this is the first book to have authors from all the 6 continents. And my thanks goes to Viola, because she's from Venezuela. So in this call, you have people from around the world. Viola, the floor is yours. You can unmute, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And it is my pleasure also to be in your book. And it has been, I have to say that it has been a journey. I'm actually, I have co-authored 11 books, and I always mention yours because it's a journey from the first email of invitation, the process, the review, and even this session that we're having now. So it's very beautiful to be working with professionals in every area, in any area of life. And I'm very thankful to be in your book. And I understand now why you asked me to be after Bushra. So Bushra is told us, how is it that we can, how is it as women we can be empowered? Bushra, I have a surprise for you. I have some workshop to empower men, but we'll talk about this later in this time and era, to get used to what is the word now, but we'll talk about this later. So once you're empowered, once you went into the excellence, and once you know what you're going to do, and you undertake an idea, you're an entrepreneur or a businesswoman or a social entrepreneur, you need to be very careful about, you need to know what is your capital. So like all capitals, you need to know what is it, you need to take care of it, you need to multiply it, so you can be in a sustained success. Because success is not like a boom, I'm successful. Like you know, I had that contract, or like me as a consultant, or as a CEO of a great academy, what will be my success? Yeah, is how to sustain the success and how to be able to serve the ups and downs of a life of an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a social entrepreneur, a networker. So for the book, for Women on Success, I choose one of my major capital, the one that I inherited, and that I noticed that I have it, and I nurture, and this is what I use the most. So I'm going to read for you a little bit of my chapter to remind about that part. One of the definition of capital is wealth in the form of money or other assets owned by a person or organization, or available for a purpose such as starting a company or investing. So are we in agreement with that definition? Yes, okay. I understand that my relational capital as a precious quality gifted to me by nature, and I have learned how to nurture it genuinely. It has evolved steadily over the years to become my most valuable currency. It helped me mature from being the unsettled migrant girl into the resourceful and determined woman I am now, that became 62 last Sunday. It has provided me with the flexibility and adaptability that I needed to settle into the changes that life all the time exposed in front of me. So this is what I want to talk with you about today, is that in the midst of us developing, I think sometimes we follow what other wants us to be. For that, many people don't achieve their dreams, or even when they achieve them, they are not happy, because maybe that dream was a dream that we borrow from somebody else, or a dream that somebody else plugged us into, or a dream that it looked like fancy and nice, because actually many people don't know what is their major currency, which is their quality, their natural quality. So let's work a little bit about it here between us, and let's have like half a minute to say 2 or 3, or to write down 3 or 4 qualities, features, characteristics that you like the most about yourself. And I'm gonna tell you, so maybe you can take one of those. For example, generosity, professionalism, reliability, intuition, connectivity, connectedness, connection with nature, motherhood, friend. You just, my smile, my eyes. So it could be physical or could be characteristic. The idea is that you write 3 or 5 of those, and then you take a deep breath. And let's take all of us a deep breath, because I cannot make a speech without having a conscious breathing. So use your nose, count into like 6. Let's do a medium one, and we inhale from the nose. And then we exhale in 6-2. We pause and we do it again. Now without my fingers, just relax and just inhale from your nose in 6 and exhale in 6. I will encourage you also to do these exercises of breathing with your eyes open, because it's very nice when we have the time to do it with our eyes closed, when we're meditating or when we're with ourselves. But I want you to do more of this, to be aware of your breathing when you're driving, when you're in a meeting, when you're in front of the Zoom camera. So, and also it has a symbolic effect, how we can enter into relationship with our eyes open, how we can enter into the network with our eyes open, breathing with eyes open, and how we can get out of some network because it's good enough for us and we grow bigger, or we have other interests. And this is what is how it is linked to know who I am. When you know who you are, what are your major qualities, then you will understand also what is your need, because you need to nurture them as a capital. So if my qualities is intuition, I love connectedness, I love my communication, and I love the way how I create and how I integrate people and concept, I need a space to do that, because those capitals need to be nurtured. Therefore, I'm not going to be in spaces where they regulate me or they imprison me or they violate me or they belittle me. Because if my intuition is a quality, means that I could be seen a little bit wild or a little bit strange, because I'm following an intuition, not only things that are structured. So if I am in a network or in a company or with friends that they are belittling that quality, I will not be scared of that. On the contrary, if I know who I am, I will not let anybody to belittle me. So I can say to you, Mr. or to you, Mrs., I allow you not to understand me or not to know who I am, but I don't allow you to belittle me. And this is something very important for women. So women can really set boundaries on time. If we really are connecting with life through the breath and transforming the paradigm of a negative thinking or cultural negative thinking, because all of us, we're coming from beautiful cultures that give us so much, nurture us in so many ways, but all cultures, I work around the world, have their shadow and have their darkness. And here we have from different countries, Paddy can tell us, we belong to different culture and country. There is no culture that all is beautiful and nice. It's because we as adults, we will need to select and see with what we stay and what is it that we let go. Now, how we're going to do that if we don't appreciate the self, if we don't know who I am, if we don't really, really nurture those capitals and learn from what Bushra is telling us to be able to structure a success. How? What is how do you say that in English? La materia prima. What is the first matter that we're going to include so something will develop in another product? And this is us. So what I can tell you as a psychotherapist and as a business consultant with, like now, I will have almost 30 years, because I started in 1993 in my own businesses, but I started in 1972 working already at the age of 30. So I'm become 62 and I have 47 years working. From these working experience, first in the corporate world, from the smallest one, because I start in a shoe store, and then I end in an insurance company before I transformed and went after my dream, as Bushra said, knowing what is my purpose, knowing what is my vision, knowing what is that I want. And you will be marveled to know, after 9 years, when I look at the vision that I created in 1993, after 9 years when I closed that cycle and I moved country, I had achieved everything from that vision and more in a different way. For example, I never thought I can write, because I speak different languages, none of them good. And my muse doesn't come if I sit to write. My muse come in front of the public when I'm talking. So I thought, this is not my field. In my vision, I wanted to be involved with a publishing company because I always loved books. So that didn't happen, but now I have 2 books. I authored 2 books, one in 1999 and one in 2017, and I co-authored 11 books. So what Bushra was telling to you before me, it's very important that you know what is your vision, because if we don't know what is our capital, means who I am, what is my bright side, if I don't know where I want to go, so I end being in another place that I don't want to be, and using the currency, the lowest of my issues, the lowest of my qualities, and then the suffering occur. And this is what happened to me before I discovered the beauty of life and the beauty of breath. I'll tell you something about me that maybe you don't know. I'm dyslexic. I interrupted my study at the age of 13 and re-engaged later. But I have dyscalculia, means that I switch number and I have a lot of trouble with numbers and maps and all these. And you know what? I worked 10 years of my life in insurance company, making calculation. Can you imagine the suffering that I have, the fear that I always was so scared to make mistakes. So I think there is a huge number of the population that are misplaced because they don't know who they are and they don't know where they want to go. That is independently of the social support, of the right, and all these other things. First thing, you need to know what is your right. And to know what is your right, really, you need to know who you are and where you want to go. And for that, I meet all these beautiful people. And for this reason, I am included in this beautiful book. So thank you so much for this space. And I will be answering some questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Viola. Muchas gracias.
Encantada.
What a message. What a message. Either you stay or you let go. And this is very important because many people, they just continue to stay and they are not happy. Just let go and find something that makes you happy. Our third speaker for tonight is someone that I met a few years ago. And I'll be doing some marketing for you, Patty. She was my communication coach. We had several sessions together. And the time zone was so difficult. She was in Canada, I was in Bahrain. I don't know how many hours we had, time difference. So Patty, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, Mohammed. And what a wonderful pleasure and honor to be with all of you this evening. I want to thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to come and listen to us this evening. And I want to say a big thank you, of course, to Mohammed for starting this book and getting all of us together. Women on Success is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And as I listen to both Bushra and Viola, so many things come to my mind. And I especially thinking of, what Bushra said about successful women are supposed to be rather like have the attributes of a successful man. And I really want us to change that. Women, we are 100 years away from parity between men and women, and I find this unacceptable. And I think that the onus is on us, on we women, to raise our voices and speak as we are doing this evening. For those of you who have read the chapter on my book, in our book rather, my story was about my very first time, my stepping into the world of being a professional speaker. I'm a little bit of a crazy woman because I was asked to speak at a world conference in front of 5,000 people in New York City, and I said yes. And then I freaked out. And I got myself a mentor because I really didn't know how to do that in front of 5,000 people in New York City. I mean, I'm from Vancouver, Canada, although presently I'm living in Oman. 5,000 people maybe in Vancouver, I might not have been so nervous, but New York City, the Big Apple. And I was thinking today, I don't think I'd even been to New York City when I first had that speaking engagement. So I was asked to speak for an hour. And I was told that I would be the speaker right before the main keynote of the entire 2 or 3 day event. So I was pretty nervous. I thought, well, I better get myself a mentor. So I got a mentor and I went to him and he said, okay, let's hear your hour speech in 3 minutes. I said, in 3 minutes? It's an hour. I thought, like, who is this guy? He's nuts. I said, but it's an hour. He said, if you can't give your hour speech in 3 minutes, you have no business being on the world stage. So we worked very hard, and I eventually was able to get my speech down to 3 minutes. Now, thank God, I didn't have to, I had more time than the 3 minutes, but let me tell you just very briefly what happened. So there I was in New York City, and I'm all ready, and I'm nervous, and I'm dressed, and everything is all set to go. And I like, one of my qualities, Viola, is I think I have bravery. So I was using all of my bravery, and a little voice came into my ear and said, Patty, do you think you could cut your speech down to 20 minutes? And I'm like, okay, because there was no MC, there was no moderator, everybody was going over time, there was no timing. Then she came up again and she said, do you think you could cut it down even more? And I very bravely said, I can give this thing in 3 minutes. Now, I got up on the stage and I gave the 3 minutes. And what I should tell you is that half of the audience was Chinese. So I had somebody standing, a man standing beside me, translating immediately into Chinese. So the non-Chinese were on one side, stage right, and the Chinese were stage left. And at one point, after my 3 minutes, they clapped and they wanted more. And then finally, they told him just to be quiet and they wanted me just to speak. So this was amazing. And I got my whole hour, and I got a standing ovation. And I think one reason why is because I knew that speech inside out. I could have given it in 3 minutes, in 30 minutes, in 3 hours, whatever they needed. So now it's a very important lesson, perhaps one of the most important lessons I've learned. And Viola knows that I'm very much into women and voice. I think communication, the only way that we're ever going to close that gap between men and women is for women to raise our voices, to speak up. You know, Cato the elder from ancient Rome, he was the first one to start writing history. And he said, know your message and the words will follow. And that's what my mentor taught me. But I also want to say, Cato was the first to write history. And for me, in my world, it's about we women writing her story, our stories, telling our stories of bravery, of courage. We are missing at the world table. I always say the absence of women's voices at the world table is deafening. One of the things that most of my clients come to today, men and women, but especially women, they say, Patty, I've got to give a presentation and I get all prepared and I know what I'm going to say. And then I get there and all the words just disappear. I don't know what to say. I said, well, why are you worrying about the words? And they said, well, because I've got to give a speech and speeches are filled with words. I said, no, no, no. Know your message and the words will always follow. This is one of the key things that I want to share, particularly with women, because as we exercise our bravery and we begin more and more to step up and speak up, we have to have confidence in ourselves. You know, our message, first of all, needs to come from deep within our hearts, within our authentic selves, with who we really are. If we can't, we've got to speak a message that's congruent with our feelings and with our beliefs. So I say to my clients, do you write your speeches? And they, yeah. I said, well, stop writing your speeches. Because when you write your speech, you get married to the words. Now, I've been a writer since I was 14. And I know that if I write a speech, I'll come up with a phrase that I just love. And then I'm up there and I'm like, where does that phrase come in? Where am I? And I get married to the words and I forget the message. You see, the message has to come from our heart and soul. So don't write your speech. Know your points. Know what it is that you want to say. Well, how can I know my message? Well, what is it that you want the audience to hear? This is one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves when we're about to speak. Why is it important for my audience to hear what I have to say? That makes all the difference in the world. Now I'm not really thinking about me giving the speech. I'm not really thinking about the words I'm going to use. I'm thinking, why do I want to deliver this message? If it's so important to me, and if people like tonight are going to come out, well, we're not going out, we're on Zoom, but in the old days when we used to come out and see each other, but nonetheless, all of you who are in this audience this evening are taking time away from your busy day and evening to listen to us. I, as the speaker, have to know, why is it important that what I have to say is worthy of you giving up your precious, valuable time for me? So it's something that I say to my students all the time: just know the message. Know your 3 points. If it's a keynote for 45 minutes to an hour, you probably want to have 5 points. But for a brief speech like this evening, I have 3 main points. I'm going to deliver them. I don't have a script in front of me. I've been thinking about tonight ever since Mohammed asked us a month or so ago. And I've been thinking about what would be the most important message that I could deliver when I'm talking about communication and women on success. You see, when we speak in front of the world, and we must, my dear sisters, we have to start speaking up. We have to, you know, you speak to be heard, but you also speak to be seen. And we are invisible. Women are invisible globally, and so many, only 4% of the boardrooms of the world have women. We are remaining, women as chairs, we are remaining invisible. So the onus is on us, my dear women. If we want to reach success, if we want to follow through what Bushra was saying, we do not have to be like men. We are not like men. I can't stand that thing you see on Facebook that a woman has to be like a man. I'll never be like a man. I can't be like a man. I only have experience as a woman. Men are men, women are women, and we balance each other and we complement each other. I don't want men to be like me, and I don't want to be like them. I want us to be complementary to each other. So if we want to reach parity, if we want, you know, when you think that we're 100 years away from equality, that's 4 generations. That's our great, great, great granddaughters. But not only our granddaughters, it's our grandsons. It's not that we want equality just for the girls and the women in the world. We need it for the boys too. Just think, it's 100 years before young boys will be born into a world where they are equal and we are equal. We can shorten that time. We can cut that time in half. This year with the United Nations and International Women's Day, we chose to challenge. And I choose to challenge that we close that gap in half the time. How will we do that, my dear sisters? We will do it by raising our voices. I'm in the process of writing a book called Your Brave Voice, How to Speak from Your Soul and Sound Like a Professional, because I'm also a radio journalist, and I think it's very important that women not only learn to stand upon the platform of what they hold to be true, beautiful, and good, and speak from there, because that's the authentic voice, but also to speak in such a way that people are leaning in, not because they can't hear us, but because they want to hear every word we say. I encourage all of us, if we want to hit success, we have to be seen and we have to be heard. So I just want you to remember 3 things. Know your message and the words will follow. Don't worry about the words. Forget about writing your speech. Know point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, and then trust yourself to deliver that. And always remember to ask yourself, why is it important that the audience take time from their busy lives to come and hear what I have to say? When you tick those 3 points off, I'm convinced, and clients show me all the time, you will deliver a successful message and people will remember what you said. Because if they don't remember what you said, then everybody might as well just have stayed home and watched television. So I encourage you, remember those 3 things. And my dear sisters, let's come together. Let's raise our brave voices. Let's tell the world, let's declare to the world what we know to be truthful about ourselves, beautiful about ourselves, and good about ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Patty. What a wonderful message. My job as a host is to summarize what you said, but you just summarized everything. I don't have to comment on what you said. But being Muhammad Isa, I have to comment. One of the authors that I wished we had with us in the book was an Omani professional tennis player, Fatma Al-Nabhani.
Yes.
And I wanted her to be in the book because she resonated with me. Her story of empowerment is what Patty just spoke about. It takes generations to be empowered. And in the case of Fatma Al-Nabhani, she was taught tennis by her mom. And her mom was taught tennis by her grandfather. So you see the flow? So empowerment all the way through. Now we have our fourth speaker for this summit, Rani Al-Hari. And if I can summarize the personality of Rania, I can say, if you want to get the job done, give it to Rania. Rania, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. I'd like to thank everybody who's attended this summit. And I want to tell you that I'm the author of chapter 29 of the Women on Success book. I want to start by sharing my story with you. A few years ago, I fell sick. I felt badly sick. And I was admitted to hospital a few times. Bottom line is that I ended up being bedridden. I lost my job and all my plans in life had to be put on hold. Okay. This adversity was so difficult for me and my family. My family were extremely traumatized. It was a shock to everybody. But I had to sit back and think about it. I had two options in life, either to quit and decline or to move forward. And I chose number two. I chose to move forward. I tried many therapies to help me recover, but nothing worked. And I was feeling very sad. I felt so much dejected, so much depressed because nothing was moving, nothing was helping me. So I took a decision to actually work on my health condition, on improving it. And it was a serious decision until I was able to sit up in bed. And from a bedridden person, I was able to sit up in bed. So when I was able to sit up in bed, the first thing I asked for was my laptop. So my family asked me, why do you want your laptop? I said, I'm going to study the science of well-being. And everybody was asking me, the science of well-being? Why? Honestly, I realized we don't have a culture that really embraces well-being. Not at home and not in the office. People are just working and going on and on and on and not asking themselves, are we actually taking care of our well-being? Am I in good shape? We don't want to fall. I mean, we don't want to reach to a stage where we reach burnout mode and we fall sick. So basically, I think the science I learned is something I practiced on myself. And when I practiced it on myself, I realized a big change in my well-being. And when I say a big change, it doesn't mean that I have recovered. It means that it has put me on my first step towards my recovery journey. Okay, it doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts. It doesn't mean I don't have bad days. I'm still a human being, right? But it has helped me a lot to put my first step on the road to recovery. And I think many people need to understand that they need to nurture positive well-being in their lives. We just can't be going on and on and on and just thinking of achievement, because you have a body that you're in charge of, okay, and you need to take care of. I wish I learned these concepts I learned in the science before I felt sick. I wouldn't have reached the stage of illness. Okay. The other thing I learned from this adversity is that I learned to dispute and challenge catastrophic thinking. Catastrophic thinking is the main cause of all our problems, because our subconscious actually amplifies any thought that comes to our mind. So if you know how to control your mind, then you will know how to control everything that comes after that. But then if you just allow your subconscious to go on and on and on, you will fall into catastrophic thinking mode. Okay. The other thing I learned from this adversity is that when you face a setback, you just don't wait for the setback to get over. You need to learn how to grow from the challenges. You need to learn to nurture positive well being. And honestly, this is not something that we were taught in schools or universities. I learned how to nurture positive well being after I studied the science. And not everybody is going to go and study the science of positive well being. So after I saw a small improvement on myself, I thought, why can't I help other people to actually improve their well-being? And I started to offer uh, casual workshops to patients and non-patients, because well-being is not something only for patients. Even for normal people, they need to take care of their well-being. If you go to work from morning to evening and you work long hours and I wake up the next day to do the same thing that you've been doing on and on and on, you will reach a burnout stage, and you don't want to reach to that stage, right? So I actually conducted the workshop for the patients and non-patients, and I could see amazing results, amazing results. I could see a shift in their well-being. So um, one message I want to pass here to the audience is that take care of your well-being, learn to nurture positive well-being, and if you, God forbid, go through any adversity or setback, don't let the adversity bend you. Use it to build you. Okay. After I actually conducted the workshops, I came up with this is a new idea actually, but I can share it with you. I came up with a program. It's called WOW. Okay, it's still in pilot stage, but I don't mind sharing it. WOW is winners of well-being. People who have not taken care of their well-being and they want to win back their well-being. So we called it winners of well-being. Why did I call it WOW? Because if you're not taking care of your well-being, you look like a tired person, like a weak person. So I want the people to reach a stage where they actually take care of their well-being, and everyone looks at them and says, wow, there's a big change in you. What happened, you know? Okay, so actually I launched some 2 pilot workshops, and they were amazing. And maybe this is something that's gonna go official because many people are asking to join in this program. Part of this program as well, because I said most of my participants are patients, so I realized that the women patients have actually been treated as weak and helpless individuals. And the woman is being told, like, you're a woman, you're sick, you need to sit back home. And this is something I reject. I totally reject. I have always been a woman's advocate. And I don't like a woman being told this. I mean, she should be empowered. She should be told, you can do, you can move forward, you can work. Yeah, so that's something as well we look at in this workshop. The other thing is that I'm trying to get the fresh graduates, the university students, because many of them now, especially with this current global crisis, they are facing a problem with finding jobs. So they are complaining and saying, we are not finding jobs and we're staying home. And I think this is going to take long. So I was trying to encourage them, okay, try to find jobs and work hard. But if you don't find a job, become an entrepreneur. There are many opportunities out there. Why can't you become an entrepreneur? So we're empowering them to become entrepreneurs and to move forward, because women need to be pushed, they need to be empowered. And if you empower a woman, you're empowering an entire society. So this is my message. I'm passing it very loud and clear to everybody. Today, if you ask me what is the meaning of success, I will tell you in one statement: success is having an impact on a human being's life. If you can have an impact, a strong impact on somebody's life, then you're successful. I worked in the corporate field for so many years and I've been achieving and delivering projects. But this kind of success of impacting people's lives directly has a different taste. I'm done with my speech.
Rania, what can I say? Wow. I love the concept of wow. And I think you should conduct it for all people, not just patient people. Now,
Not
throughout
patients, Ahmed, it's for patients and non-patients.
Good, excellent. Now I'm wowed more. Now, throughout your speech, you said two words together, move forward. And this is a beautiful book title. Either you publish this book or I'll publish it myself.
We can work together. No problem.
Thank you, Rania, for
you to join us.
For your passionate remarks. And we wish you all the best in your WOW project. It will be definitely a WOW project. Now, we're moving to the fifth speaker. And she's someone special. We met so many years ago, not 40 years ago. I cannot say that. I don't know, 10 years. We met at Bahrain Society for Training and Development. We're both passionate about training and development of others, and that's where we met. And she joined me in the first collaborative book that I published. It's here, The DNA of Development. Tusen, the floor is yours. Go for it.
This has been so inspiring. To be here with these amazing ladies is amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, I had a dream many years ago, and my dream was, no, I'm not gonna do the speech by Martin Luther King Jr. But if I asked everybody, do you have a dream? I'm sure you'd say, yeah, I have a dream. I have more than one dream. I have two, I have more, even more than that. But my dream for the longest time was to be an author. And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it some more, but it never happened. So one day I said, okay, you know what? Let me just start to write something down. And I wrote a page. Everything was flowing, was looking good. I chose a topic, was going to be on leadership, which is something I'm very passionate about. And then I stopped. I had the kids, I had family, no time, and that was the end of that. Until I met Mohammed. I met Mohammed and I heard about him having a project. He just mentioned it. And with that project, after exchanging emails a few times, he told me what was required about becoming an author for this collaborative book. And the book had, I believe, 26 other authors. It was organized by the Bahrain Society of Training and Development. And through participating in that project, I realized my dream. I became an author. For me, that was success. And I owe it to Mohammed. And as soon as I heard that he was doing a second project, I didn't hesitate. I jumped on it. And this book with 37 amazing ladies from all around the world, I've read all their chapters for the ladies that are here. So I had not just one dream come true, or rather, my dream came true not once, but twice. And now I'm hoping to go on to even get more books done under my belt. But you see, success, and I'll read a quote here that I like by Oprah. Oprah says, the key to realizing a dream is to focus not on success, but significance. And then even the small steps and little victories along your path will take on greater meaning. So success is what you do for yourself, the way I see it. And it's great, it's great. However, significance is what you do for somebody else to help them along the way. Just like Muhammad did for me and so many others. We became first-time authors. I don't know if Muhammad knows how many of us that was our very first time becoming authors. So it's about being significant. I focus now more on what can I do, not just to be successful, but to be significant. I'm a coach with the John Maxwell team, which has grown to over 30,000 team members around the world in over 160 countries. And one core belief that we have is that we are people of value who add value to people because we see value in them. And so one thing is to be successful, but how about moving it up a notch and going for significance? I'll tell you a couple of stories. I have some clients that I've worked with, and when they come back and tell me, oh, Tosin, I'm expanding my business, for me, that's fulfilling, that's rewarding. Or I'm going to move from having just one shop to having 2 shops. That's fulfilling for me. So ladies and gentlemen, here, though we should strive, and just like what the previous speakers have talked about success, definitely, we want to continue to elevate our skills, elevate ourselves, add to ourselves, because for one thing, you cannot add to others what you don't have. So by being successful, we'll have something to give to others. But we can step it up a notch and focus on being significant and making that other person realize and maximize the potential that they have, because each one of us has a potential. And sometimes we just need someone along the way to help us get to that point, just like Muhammad did for me. So let's go for significance, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you.
Thank you, Tosin. Thank you so much. I feel very humbled. You mentioned my name so many times. I know. Thank God, I'm in a very well. The air conditioning is so good in this room. So otherwise, I would have a glittering forehead by now. Thank you, Tosin. Thank you. Now here is a book title for you, and you either write it or I'll write it. Start your journey to significance. Tosin, go for it. Thank you so much, Tosin. And we wish you more success in your journey to significance. And that's what we should do. We should all empower each other to grow and grow and grow. There is no point of being successful while people around us not as successful. So let's move. Let's move. Yeah, and there is a quote, I think, by someone, 1,000 steps by a single person are equivalent to one step by 1,000 people. I'm not sure, you know. You get the point, right? Excellent. Now, our last speaker for this tonight, and then we will have a Q&A session. Last speaker is the partner of the first speaker in their chapter, A Woman with a Black Tie. And just to tell you something about this, it's when I read the title and then I read the chapter of Bushra, I immediately went to Google and Googled the image she was, or the painting she was referring to, and I found it, and I have an artist in my family. She's my cousin Zainab, and I sent her the image, and she redid the whole painting again. And I'll share the image later on after we hear what Dr. Nihal has to say. Dr. Nihal, she likes to work with young entrepreneurs. And Dr. Nihal, the floor is yours.
So welcome everyone. So of course, it's always immense pleasure being with you, Muhammad, and those amazing authors. Of course, thank you again for inviting me. And of course, we've known each other for over 2 books now, and we always say it's more than just a book. So it's never a book, only a book. And when I have been invited for this book again. One of the success factors that I'm going to be sharing that I did not share in the book, and I have a reason for that, is having somebody to believe in you and somebody to push you. And as I just have written in the chat, that he is a true leader and he has a clear vision of how to persuade, number one, and motivate and put deadlines. So this is the thing. The idea behind this chapter, basically, A Woman in a Tie, I started this research probably like 4 years and a half ago, and I did it with another colleague of ours. We had a conference at the university, and it has always been a thought very challenging, especially I'm working at the Royal University for Women. I'm a business professor there. And in our generation, and even like in each and every generation, we always have this question about like, okay, what exactly do I expect from women or from girls or females? And it just struck me that sometimes because we want to prove that we are strong, we are professional, so I have to be in a men's robe or wear women's men's attire. Of course, suits are nice. Ties are very nice, by the way. I love them, but not from the perspective that I change my role. Again, why is the idea of this chapter is different? Because as I was surprised that most of my co-authors, amazing authors, when I read the book after being completed, that all of my co-authors actually shared their personal experiences, and they were all inspiring. Of course, like I salute all of you. I congratulate all of you for having the courage to open up and share your life experiences. But I was more into the fact that I wanted to see, like, my students, the future generation, how they actually see the perception of success. How can they lead successful lives afterwards and lead our lives, because like those are future leaders. So basically I went to my students. I was just like, okay, the idea of the book, success, empowerment, so all of those themes. So I actually was asking the surrounding females, lovely females, because all of the students are females. Of course, we have male professors and admin people, but basically students are females. So this is how the idea of this chapter came by. It's because of Muhammad, and of course because of actually Bushra came by. She is one of our amazing mentors. She used to come over to the university to mentor the students. She participated in so many programs. And she doesn't know that, or maybe like now she knows, but like at the time when we started discussing the chapter, I told her, you have to be part of that. She told me, well, I haven't done much in my life. And I have seen her, like I was just telling her earlier, like she made a difference with my students, and she made a difference with me personally. And I love just seeing her. For me personally, success is having, it's not about network, but having people who really believe in you, who would like to see you successful, who would see something that nobody else sees, and who tries to get the best out of you. And actually, over here, of course, I have Muhammad here, who really inspired all of us. But actually, I'm very fortunate because, like, I have Bushra, and she always have been there. And I was telling her, like, whenever she entered a certain event or like we have been participating in whatever together, or maybe I was there and she just entered. I just felt that she came especially for me. She never said this, but I felt she was always happy to see such a success. She was there always for, she believed in our students, she believed in females as well. So again, I really appreciate that. And at times I was going to go back, and I didn't have the time to actually write the book, and she was there. And that's why I told her, you know what, you will be part of that. And she didn't want to like, she tried to escape, but thank God that we did it together. Why again am I fortunate? Because I have two of my amazing partners actually back in Egypt and in the US. So I have Dr. Amr Isa and I have Dr. Izzat Azzuddin, and again I owe them a lot. They saw something in me, and we worked together. We succeeded together. So again, having such an amazing support group. So again, this adds to, this is success in itself. In the book is as well, I have made so many friends that that really like coming across all of those people. It really it's amazing. So definitely Tawson, we've met before, and congrats Tawson. She won the Global Women Award, right? So we have to congratulate her. And of course we have Viola. She had her birthday 2-3 days ago, so happy birthday. Yes. And I have Aisha. Again, she's an amazing researcher who is willing to learn, and is willing to empower others. She's a great giver actually to the people around her, and she's amazing. So I'm fortunate, and a lot of other co-authors. And it's not just the idea that I'm saying this to empower, to promote the book, but actually this, like, for me, I was happy to get to know each one of those co-authors in like reading the chapter. Of course, you see part of them. I haven't met all of them, but I would love very much, of course, thanks to Muhammad, he's trying his best, especially with those virtual team meetings, but definitely it's very enlightening. I'll share something that I was not shared actually in the chapter. I'm the youngest grandchild. I'm the eldest female young grandchild. And my grandma is the eldest among her sisters and brothers. My mom is the eldest as well. So I don't know, I was lucky, but like seeing my grandma, seeing my mom, and being like part of this family, I've always noticed something really interesting. And it relates very much, and it resonates with the topic that we're discussing today. That basically my grandma, she was a widow at a very early age. She was a mother of 5, and all of them are highly educated, thank God. And amazing grandma. It's not about being a grandma. She was a true leader. She was a thinker. She was very critical, very fair, but she was very kind. And at the same time, she was always amazing in the way she showed her finesse. She always had this female elegant look in her, but she was tough. Nobody can ever cross the line. Nobody can ever. So as I always say, like she's very fine, but she's very she's tough. She was tough. God bless her and have mercy on her. So she was a great model of somebody who can lead anything with wisdom and fairness. But at the same time, she's very kind, loving, and caring. So she played this role with a great balance. My mom is the same thing. So she is a true leader. She is, again, one of my role models. But the different roles that she used to play, like when to become a leader and when to become part of the team and when to become a partner. So this is the lesson that I would love to share with my daughter, with my students, with my colleagues here, that it's about playing those different roles properly. It's about maintaining the balance. Of course, I can never do that unless I know exactly who I am. So definitely everything that Paddy, Viola, Tosin, Bushra, and definitely Rania, thanks to you. If you don't know yourself well, you wouldn't be able to do that. But you wouldn't be knowing yourself well unless you are you identify in each situation what is the role. It is not about being a leader. I always challenge this, like, okay, like with all the respect to all the researchers and all of those statistics talking about women equality or gender equality or female representation. It's not about like how many females at the top of organizations. It's about what you actually do, because like it's not the number. I can be one, I can be very few, but it's the impact that we do and doing it right and doing it properly. It's about complementing the picture, but adding what really matters. It's not a competition, it's co-opetition, as we call it, competition and cooperation. So it's partnership. It's about proper partnership. So when to lead, when to stand side by side, and when to actually follow. Sometimes I have to follow. This is the lesson that I learned throughout my life, and I hope that all of my like the females in different parts of the world and different countries, different ages, because like we can always learn new things. So I think this is the beauty of it, like how to know your role and when to get this role. Of course, being surrounded by the proper support group. So I was lucky, and I'm still lucky having all those amazing people in my life is important. However, they would never be there unless I speak up, unless I communicate. So here, of course, proper communication is important. As I always tell my daughter, for instance, and my students, no harm to ask. Please go and ask. Please seek advice, seek help. Even your weaknesses, even if you don't know something, ask for it. And being a female, sometimes it is a barrier. Going back to Bushra and networking, yes, networking sometimes is hard for females, for girls, for young females just graduated. So again, part of the empowerment is just helping them to identify their strengths, and by putting them in the right surroundings or communities in order to just allow them proper channels for networking. And again, it is you have to know exactly who you are, and a lot of times if you're not surrounded by those support groups or support communities or individuals, you have to look inside of yourself. Sometimes you have to search, like Rania did something really amazing. So basically, okay, maybe I'm not good at this now, but I can find something else. I can relate to something else. So I have to figure something that I can really build on, something that maybe I stopped doing so many time ago, or maybe there's something I'm still exploring. Self-motivation is important, because not like, of course, everybody would like to have a clap or some sign of motivation or encouragement, but sometimes you don't have this. Females or males, anyone, but the point is sometimes you don't have this, so you have to learn how to get up and rise whenever you fall down. So my advice to you is just know your role properly. Enjoy being, like for females, of course, enjoy being a female, enjoy your finesse, enjoy your femininity, and maintain the other professional look whenever needed. So you have to know it, and you have to own it, and you have to celebrate it, and just be yourself. And that's my word for you today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nihal. Thank you so much for your message. You are muted, Dr. Nihal. Bushra, can you unmute? We cannot hear you if you are saying something.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Bushra, I was about to send you a WhatsApp message telling you to tell Dr. Nihal time is up. But thank God she stopped. I know, because she's the flowing, you know, she's following the advice of Paddy. Know the message, the words with the flow. Thank you so much. And if I take just one thing out of Dr. Nihal's remark, it is this. Did you notice how many times she said she thanked people throughout her speech? I think this is something we need to do more of. I know many employees, many family members, they never hear the word thank you. So we need to thank each other more and more. We need to show appreciation. And there was a book I have, I loaned it to someone. I don't know whether I'll get it back or not. It was called The Book of Wisdom. Basically, it was an interview of people who were 60 years old and more. Some people were in their 90s. There was someone in the 100. And one of the things that resonated with me so much in this book was something to this line. Use the 3 magical words to get more from this life. And the magical words were please and thank you. So thank you so much to all the speakers for all your remarks and all the messages you shared with me and the participants. And now we come to the Q&A session. If the participants have any questions, you can either use the chat or you can unmute and ask your question directly. Yes, Brother Osama, you have a question? Can you go ahead?
Yes, good evening to everybody. It was a very fruitful session, and I felt myself I'm really odd in this session. 75% of the participants are female, so I was planning to quit, but then I said, no, let me suffer a little bit and sit and listen. Thank you very much for this. In fact, my question is for Mrs. Badi. I met you in Bahrain. I had an honor to meet you in Bahrain in one of the Muhammad Shukri's session, professional speaker, and you evaluated me in one of my speech. My question is, in fact, not a question, it's an advice. Usually in any contest I participated in, I don't read from the paper. I don't write even. I just write the objective of the speech and the points that I would like to talk about it. And then I start rehearsing based on this one. I felt that I'm more comfortable if I speak from my heart and my mind. And it works. It worked, except that I did not win any contest. Till somebody from the Toastmaster told me, Usama, write down the speech. I advise you strongly to write down the speech and then start rehearsing. Now, when I heard your speech, again, your advice is don't write. I felt confused. So what is your advice? What is the thing that I have to do?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Osama. You know, I was looking at you and I think I've met him before. You know, they're two different, we could say two different kettles of fish. Now, if you want to go on a Toastmasters contest, a speech contest, that's different because you do need to memorize. To be really honest with you, I work a lot with Toastmasters leaders, but I don't go into the competitive speaking arm of things because my style of speaking is much more organic. And that's just what I like. I've judged at the World Championship. I've never picked the winner because I personally, and it's just a personal thing, I want to, you see, for me, because I'm a radio journalist as well, and the best message is the message that is felt. And so for me, when I hear somebody speaking, I need it to come from the heart, not too much from the head. No, but if you do want to win a contest, that is, as I say, it's a different thing. So you've got to be on point. First of all, the timing is meticulous. You can't go even 1 second over that limit or you're disqualified. And it's a different raison d'etre. It's a different reason because there you're trying to win. But the work that I do is more speaking. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher. I've been a coach for 49 years. I'm probably the grandmother here. I'm 68 and a half years old. And so for me, what I want is I want you to touch me. I want your words to touch me. I want to go away and think about it. Now, sometimes in a competitive speech, it can be very good. And but I never find them because they're very razor sharp. You know, they're sliced and diced, as we say, and there has to be humor. I don't believe in a speech that there always has to be humor. So it's a different genre, I think you could really say, Osama, depending on what the purpose. And always, again, you have to know your audience. So if you're going to be if you want to win a competition at Toastmasters, then you have to know exactly what the rules of the game are. I prefer, as I said, communication that goes beyond just the 7-minute speech that is surgically organized to gain points. Because, you know, as a judge, I'm ticking off points. But when I'm speaking to an audience in front of a lot of people, I'm not really going for points. I'm a teacher. I have a message. It's something that has come to me from my many years of being a performance artist on this planet, 49 years, as I say, of coaching, many years in radio. And so my job as a radio journalist, for example, is always to make sure that you keep listening. So I can understand your confusion, but if you separate the reason for speaking, and who your audience is. And a Toastmasters competition audience, they're tough. And I've judged so many. And it's very rare that I pick the winner because I want somebody who takes me on a journey. And you can't always do that in 7 minutes. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope so. But if you're going to go in competition, you know, work with Mohammed Shukri. You know, he and I have done a lot of teaching, speaking together, and we're both big fans of message. He does train, and there are many coaches that train for a Toastmasters speaking contest. That's not my cup of tea. It's not my genre. Does that help you? Nice to see you again, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Raise your hand or just unmute and speak. You have a panel that has more than 150 years of experience. So use that.
I have a question.
Yes.
While the audience decide to have a question, so I have a question. Rania, so I applaud your well-being and the idea you have about woe. There is different woe in the world, and I wonder where you want to take it. how you want to take WOA to the corporate level, to ministries, to children, to, and this is my first question. And the second one is, how can we help you? Count on us in how we can help you. Thank you.
I already, like I said, it's in a pilot stage, and we've done a couple of workshops, and they were very successful. I've tried them on patients, and now it should be coming for non-patients, because even the normal employees, the normal people who are non-patients, they want to know, how can I nurture positive well-being before I go into burnout mode and an illness mode, God forbid. So yeah, I still didn't try it on non-patients, but it's coming. For the corporate world, I have a program in itself. Haven't tried it yet. It's still in study. I'm still studying it, because I'm already certified workplace happiness coach. So we have something going that side as well. So maybe once it's ready, I can share it with you, but I don't have anything on mind for the corporate world yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I ask you because for many years I work in the differentiation between stress and creative tension, how to manage stress, and how to go into the well-being, holistic well-being. So it will be a pleasure to share with you.
Definitely. I mean, once it's ready and I have it in place, I can share it with you. No problem.
That's what we want. That's what we said. It's more than a book. We need to collaborate. I can see Bushra pointing at, no? Yeah? You're pointing at, go ahead.
If I am allowed this opportunity, because there are some wonderful people over here, I might know the answer, but for the benefit of audiences, I had this question for a long time. You know how these books and psychotherapists like Viola is here, Rania, I mean, there are many people who say that, to eliminate stress, you have to think positively, because your positive thoughts, they actually kill stress. And we all know that stress is it's a basis of 90% of diseases. But can anyone tell me what is your remedy? Okay, we know that we have to think positively, but how do you think positively when you are surrounded by such negativity and you are embroiled in such a stressful situation? How do you flip your mind around?
I will answer you.
How? Yes, tell us how.
First, you really need to connect with the major treasure you have in life, which is your breath. It's very important that you learn breathing technique, first of all. Secondly, when you learn breathing technique and when you are in a situation of breath, I'm going to show you this that you're going to remember. When you're in stress, this is what's going to happen. There is an action and it seems a reaction. When you start breathing in a conscious way, these phenomena are going to happen. Your brain going to get oxygenated. The option open up. Really, maybe from one, it become all these possibility. Maybe none of them is what you wanted, to kill him or to whatever. No, I'm joking. But it's many, many, many possibilities. This is one thing. The other thing, how I minimize in 1 minute stress to 50% is not to name stress what is not stress. So it's to learn how to differentiate what is creative tension from stress. So any situation that you still have certain control about it, it's not stress, it's attention, it's a creative tension. And there is dozens of possibility to deal with it. Stress is a situation that you don't have control about it. So if we start just by that, if we just start learning how to differentiate, we can cut it to half or more maybe. And then later we go into what is stressful, situation that we don't have control about. And then you go to another exercise, what I can influence, what I can't influence. And then you reduce more and more about that, and all that accompanied with the breathing as with certain positive thinking. And I'm sure that all of you understand when Rani and me, we are talking, or Paddy, about positive thinking, we're not just saying, everything is okay, I'm happy and wealthy, everything is okay. No, the mind is much more sophisticated than that. It's just take away, see, you by now, you know what you, when I said, oh, how stupid of me, I didn't know how to deal with that as the computer. Immediately another voice in me said, no, you're not stupid. You just, we need to learn emotional intelligence. And also a friend of mine, I will bring him one day to a talk. He created something called emotional efficiency, to be able to name the sentiment and the emotion by its name. So we reduce, the idea is how to be efficient, to reduce, and then you will be more able, because we're capable, we're resilient. This is another subject, how to deal with situation. And negative people around us, we have to bless. I always remember, and I say it in Arabic, Allah yus'adun wa yub'adun. Yeah, some people, Allah yus'adun wa yub'adun. God give them happiness and put them away from us. But some, Allah cannot put them away from us. We cannot. So we keep praying, Allah yus'adun. So they also minimize their level of unhappiness, so we can deal better with it. There's more for later.
Thank
Patty,
you.
go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Patty,
I would just like to
something?
add to that too, because, you know, I agree completely. And in the convention that I spoke at in New York was actually a Qigong convention. I was a Qigong teacher, meditation teacher for a long time. But to me, because I'm a communication coach, words have such power. And so there's a practice that I've been doing for a long time. And I first heard about it many years ago from Dr. Wayne Dyer in his book, Wishes Fulfilled. But I now find out it goes back way to the 13th century. And it's the I am principle. So whatever words you say after I am create the vibration of what it is that you will be. So if you say I am stressed, yes you are. I do this meditation several times a day. Matter of fact, I record on my phone in the morning. I get up and I do my I am. I am love. I am loved. I am strong. And I just go through all of these words that are positive to me now, because the world is full of stress and the world is full of people that you wish wouldn't come around you, but they're coming around you. There's nothing you can do. We're all here together. We're in it all together. And so I have found, and if you even go at Dr. Wayne Dyer is his name. He passed away a year or so ago. I miss him terribly, even though everything of his is online. But if you go to YouTube and do the I am that meditation, and he explains it to you, whatever words you put after I am is the reality that you are creating. And so you think about it when I'm stressed, and as soon as you think you're stressed, your mouth goes dry, you get a headache, your neck gets tense. But when you say I am calm, I am centered and relaxed, I am fine, I have time for everything, I am that, I am love, that I am strong, that I am. And I repeat these. And so, you know, I even do it in my sleep now. And in my sleep, I even say things that I'm a little too shy to say out loud. Like I woke up the other night, because I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but I'm going to be truthful. I woke up because I heard myself say, I am marvelous, I am. And I woke up and I, girl, because, you know, I'm a Canadian and we're not that loud about what we are and how we are, but I practice it so much. You know, I came here for actually to do some work in Bahrain. I came to Oman to see my business partner. We were going to go to Dubai. This is a year ago, to attend a conference. And then I was to go to Bahrain, but the COVID caught me and I've been here ever since. I came with one suitcase. It's been a real upside down experience. And I'm not in Muscat. I'm in this little town called Sohar. We're a very closed society, very different. I've lived in 10 countries. I've never lived anything like I am now. And I've had to practice, I am me, I am strong, I am love, I am beautiful, I am, because it's given me the courage to stay here and keep my heart open and keep my mind open. And it's been one of the most magnificent experiences. And when they opened the airport, I didn't even want to go home. So now here it is all these months later. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll go home at the end of May. And I don't think I would have had that courage. I'm 68 years of age. I'm a widow. I'm alone in the world. I have a son. He is married. They have no grandchildren. So I'm basically alone in the world. And I need my bravery. And I need my courage to stay here and to build my company and to build because I write all my own programs. I am that. I am. So the stress on the outside, yep, it gets me sometimes, but I just go to the power of the vibration of the words, I am that I am. I would encourage everyone to give that a try, especially when, as we say, the going gets a little bit tough, because, you know, I am, that's the voice of God in us. That's the courage of the great holy creator saying, you are my daughter and I am proud of you. And that's all I want in my life. So I just wanted to add that. And keep breathing.
Thank you.
Deeply.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you so much. I've been sitting on this chair for 2 hours now, but I feel great. I am comfortable. I am happy. I am enjoying my time. Let me breathe. To the count of 6. Excellent.
Mohammed, and also we have spouses that they are waiting for us. They are, I am, and they are.
Oh, fantastic. Let's see if we have one more question and then we'll wrap up. Let's see if we have one more question from the attendees. If not, we will wrap up. Speak out or raise your hand through the chat. Meanwhile, let me share this painting that I've been talking about. Remember when Bushra showed us the slides, she showed us the original painting that was made in 1917. This is the painting that was made by my cousin in 2020. What do you think? Which one is better? Do you see it?
Very nice.
Yeah, I think the render of my cousin is better than the original, perhaps because of the colors that faded, the original painting. And when I asked her to sign the painting, she refused. She said, I did not create this. I copied it. And if I sign, it would be something that I create, not something that I copied. So, and that's a lesson in the principle. Yeah. So this is the painting of my cousin, Zainab. She just recently got engaged. So maybe I should send her this video when it's up. She'll be happy. All right. One final chance to ask a question to this great panel. I was, as I said, this is a panel of 150 years of experience. Tap into their minds and experiences. This is your chance. And in all frankness and all honesty, this summit went much, 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 much beyond my expectations in terms of the content, in terms of the passion, in terms of the stories that were told by the speaker. So please, if you have a question, go ahead and ask a question.
Mohammed, since our audience is still thinking, is it possible to get to meet some of them?
What do you mean by meeting them?
For them to introduce themselves. For instance, I have my mother here. She's 80 years old.
Where is she? You should have told us. Where is she?
Mom, can you unmute and say hello?
She is. I saw a photo of a beauty.
Mom.
You may not know how to unmute. She's 80, so I have to help her sometimes. But she's here. Fola Said, that's my mom. And some of my friends are here as well. So thank you all for coming.
Let me try. I asked her to unmute. I don't know if she can hear me or she saw my message.
Hello.
Yes, let's give her a big round of applause.
Oh, can you hear me now? Good evening, everybody. I really enjoyed the summit greatly. And as Patty said about the power of I am, that's what I do it almost every day too. I wake up and said, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm strong, I'm healthy. I'm a winner. I'm greatly loved, deeply loved. I am amazing. I'm going forward. I'm going to have a beautiful day. You know, like she said, and I have a book too where I write all these things and I confess them every day and it works for me. So I think it's a good advice to everybody and I think we should all embrace it. I'm here in Bahrain and I'm having a great time on vacation. Thank you so much for all the advice. I really enjoyed the summit. God bless.
Well, thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're most
Tusen.
welcome.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise to have your mom with us. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Blessed to have your mom.
Do we have any other participants who wants to speak, introduce themselves?
Hello.
Yes, Aisha?
Yes, I've been listening to all of the speakers and I'm quite impressed. Alhamdulillah, this is the second summit that I've attended from your side as the host, Mr. Muhammad. It's really wonderful and I really appreciate your effort. And I have, through this summit, I think I have seen quite a few people who are, you know, so involved in their work. And this is something that I aspire to do and aspire to be. So I am Aisha Jaz. I'm just a student and I'm working as a research assistant with Dr. Nihal as well. That's how I came across this summit. But really, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all the work that you do. I mean, you are all like, you know, so well seasoned in your work and I'm just starting out. So I wanted all of you to know that you are a great inspiration for people like us who are starting out, who are young women who want to do something with their lives. So just want to say thank you so much, all of you.
Well, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
As
Thank
we said
you.
earlier, we're here to support each other and grow together. The pie is always large. You know, this is one of the sayings that I love about the National Speakers Association in the US. When it was founded, the founder, Robert Cavett, I think, he said, we don't compete on the pie, we enlarge the pie. So we're not in a competition. Yeah? All right. It's been my pleasure and my privilege to host another summit. And very soon I'll be having an online Ask Me Anything session about how to write your first book. So stay tuned. I'll be posting about it in my social media accounts. And I would like to thank all the speakers, Bushra, Viola, Paddy, Rania, Tusen, Dr. Nihal. Thank you so much for sharing your message and being so authentic. And this is something we need in this days and age. We need to be authentic. And this is something that can help us connect with the other people. Thank you so much and be blessed. الله يسعدهم والله يبعدهم.
لا بس نحن الله يسعدنا ويقربنا.
إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله. Thank you, Viola.
Hadi, but for us, may God give us happiness and make us near together, closer together.
Yes, inshallah.
Thank you.
I wish to meet all of you in person one day. I'm so inspired. I've read the book. It is, you know, whenever I read, just this last, I'll just take 1 minute, Muhammad.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, whenever I read a good book, I think it was The Alchemist and, you know, really good books. I start highlighting it. If you
Me
can.
too.
And, you know, this is like my go-to book nowadays. I just recently got it from Dr. Nihal. Because of COVID, I couldn't meet. And I've put these stickers, and this is really an amazing book. And I loved reading all the inspiring stories. And inshallah, one day we will get to meet.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And just since we're recording this, I should highlight this. You know, one of the authors in the book is my daughter, Dana. Did you notice? Yeah.
Wow.
Look for her name. She was 13
How
at
old?
that time. She was 13. She has a greater following than her father on Instagram. She has a secret Instagram account where she posts so many written pieces, and she has a few ebooks as well. And her books are read by the thousands. But she refuses to share with us that secret Instagram account.
And why is she not joining us today?
Well, she's too busy with the schools. They are keeping them so busy with all these requirements, and the schools are not showing any mercies on the students during this time. They are getting more projects and more projects, and the other night she was complaining to me that one of her teachers came. I hope the teacher does not watch this recording. She said she expects us to summarize Romeo and Juliet into 100 words paragraph. How can we do that?
Paddy.
Yeah. She still didn't take the books to the school. She's waiting for COVID to end so that she goes and present the copies to school principals and the teachers, and hopefully that will happen very soon. And the reason I made her be in the book is to give her that edge that she was published at a younger age, and this goes back to the empowerment we talked about.
It's very important to include young people. It's very important.
Very.
Agree.
So I think there are two important things in life: is what we breathe, and we invest that breathing into something useful.
I think they are the leader of the future, and it's very, very important that young people are included and that we listen to them and they also see our journey. Yes, very important. Well done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Adios.
Thank you.
Hasta
I am grateful.
Hasta mañana.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you all.
My love to everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye now.
Thank you all. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Cosette.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It was good to be here. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care, huh?
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.